definitely. Dan Dillon, cleanitsupply.com. Thanks for your time.
Oh, you're welcome, sir. You have a great day, Eugene.
Want to learn more about being safe online and cybersecurity? Check out our website, homebabiz.com. That's HOMBABIZ.com, homebabiz.com, and click on Tools. Be right back.
Homeba Biz Radio.
Here's the deal. Let's drop a couple of ideas that people can take right away.
The best broadcast for the home-based business owner.
Some think that just having a website on the internet is enough to bring attention to your business.
Homeba Biz is short for home-based business.
Women not leaning in or sitting at the table, they're not even walking in the room.
Like us on Facebook.
The number of people who could help you have a really significant impact in terms of your business, your wealth creation, is a lot smaller than we think it is.
Visit homebabiz.com and click the like button at the bottom right.
And then once I realized how much time I was actually investing in other people, I said, okay, something has got to give.
Homeba Biz Radio.
Absolutely, and then you guys, y'all look good.
The best broadcast for the home-based business owner.
Welcome back, Homeba Biz Radio, homebabiz.com. On this episode, talking about how to hold on to your trade secrets and your intellectual property. Scott Locke is chair of Dorff and Nelson's Intellectual Property Department. He's got over a decade of experience on counseling clients on patents, trademarks, copyrights, and trade secrets. He also provides solo inventors and startups with strategies and tools for maximizing the return on their ingenuity, creativity, and goodwill. Scott, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about your background in the intellectual property field?
Sure. So I've been doing this for about 15 years. I have a technical background in biotechnology, and I've been counseling clients in the chemical industry, the biotech industry, the information sciences, the engineering fields, as well as in the luxury goods and fashion industries and computer programmers on all different processes in their points in their businesses. So from starting their businesses to maximizing the likelihood of getting a good price on sale to enforcing their intellectual property rights.
For a business that's just starting up, maybe out home or maybe in offices, when is the best time for them to consult someone like you when it comes to protecting their trade secrets?
So you really want to do it as soon as you have an idea of what your business plan is, your good or your service, but before you disclose it to anybody.
Okay. Now, a lot of the tech companies, especially out on the West Coast, we see them doing beta tests, we see them doing testing, and in order to do these things, they have to get other people involved. Do you think they're doing that before they wrap up the intellectual property, or are they pretty much risking their idea when they're doing something like that?
If they don't have agreements in place for confidentiality, they are risking people copying what they're doing. And also, if they haven't gone to the patent office in time, they're also risking that anybody else will have free reign over their inventions. So there's really a balance going on.
Now, when it comes to IP, I know that there are a number of different areas. I've heard, copyright. I've heard trademark. I've heard patent. How does all that fit for someone who's just starting a business at the kitchen table with a great idea and a diagram?
The first thing to do from the inventor or the entrepreneur's point of view is to figure out what makes my service or my product different from everyone else's, and what's going to stop somebody else from just copying what I do. Because some things competitors are allowed to copy, and unless you've got protection, particularly in the form of intellectual property, you have no recourse against them. So there's no value in starting a business that someone who's bigger and faster can just copy and do the same thing with. You've got to figure out what's your point of differentiation.
You've been doing this for 15 years. You probably have seen some good and some bad situations. Tell us a horror story of someone who didn't call a person like you to make sure that their ideas are taken care of and secure.
I frequently get calls from people who either say, I had this idea before this big company. About 5 or 6 years ago, this happened a lot with the barcodes on the key fobs and on electronic devices and scanning of barcodes and QR codes. And everybody thought they invented it first, and they didn't do anything. So they let their rights sit and for other inventors to claim position in, or they've disclosed it to other people and thought they had an unlimited amount of time to go to the patent office, which is the exact wrong thing to do. The third area where people make a lot of mistakes is where they assign away their copyrights. Particularly computer programmers or software coders don't appreciate the right they have in the programming that they do, and they will sign things away to other people for not a lot of money in the short term, but give up their rights for eternity.
Wow. And it seems like with a lot of coders, they're great people. Do you think it's something where they're just saying, hey, help me out with this, I'll let you use it too, and person B ends up, taking that idea from them? Why do you think they do that?
I think part of it is that coders think really fast, and they think in a lot of different ways, and most of them are very, very bright people, and it happens in real time, and there are a lot of coders who are asked to program very quickly, and the intellectual property law moves much slower. So there's a lot of time you need to step back and figure out how to position yourself. You have to, I want to say, breathe before you do anything or sign anything. And part of it also is a lot of coders are younger. That can't believe the younger they are, the faster they program often. And they haven't had enough experience in the legal industry or interaction with the legal industry to understand that you have to protect before. You can't always protect yourself later. You can't fix everything down the road. So it's really important, particularly for them, not to give away too much, or to at least appreciate what they're giving away, and they may not always be able to get it back.
Do you ever get calls where an entrepreneur says, this is my idea, somebody stole it from me, and I have patent protection? Maybe tell us about one of those stories where you were able to defend someone's intellectual property.
So there are certainly times where people have called up and they said, I have the patent on this. I already own it, which from my perspective is great because they've got their rights perfected. And then it's relatively straightforward because most people respect other people's patent rights, which is nice. So those are generally the successes. Or if it's a patent I've written and they discover that someone else is infringing, we can just send the cease and desist. And in most instances, people work out a deal. They either license it or they stop doing it. It's the smaller cases where they actually end up in the litigation. The smart inventor, he or she has thought first and has gone to the patent office and started the process of securing their rights. The trouble is when they say someone stole my idea, but the creator or the inventor hasn't done anything to protect himself or to perfect his rights. And then often he or she is at a loss. It's once bitten, twice shy.
So we saw some things come out in the news where the Obama administration is trying to, curb the action of patent trolls. I guess those people who own patents, they don't use them, and then they try to reach out and spank inventors and entrepreneurs. How do you think that's going to affect the landscape over the next 2 to 3 years? Candidly,
I think that they're going to get stuck in Congress, and it's going to get weighed down, and other things are going to take precedent. It's very hard to get intellectual property bills through Congress. I think the bigger curb on the patent trolls is going to be a recent court decision by the Federal Circuit, which is being a lot stricter on the type of inventions that actually can have patent protection. They're getting much more critical of what we call abstract ideas. Just the idea of that you should do something as a process. Too many patents were granted on those, and the real focus should have been how you do the processes. So you saw a whole slew, particularly starting in the late 90s through the early 2000s, of what people were unhappily calling the business method patents, which often were involving in the financial industry or in the software industry loosely, or data processing industries. And the courts have caught up and said, you know what, too many of those were granted. They really never should have. Those aren't what patents are for. So the pendulum has swung back, and you're going to see a lot more defenses like that, and I think a lot more people are going to start standing up to the trolls.
Well, I guess that's a good thing, especially for the solo inventor, the home-based business owner who's trying to move up in the world. They don't have to worry about being taken advantage of, I guess.
I think that they'll see a lot fewer people contacting them. I don't think it'll die out overnight, but I think that cottage industry is going to diminish.
Gotcha. Last question, Scott. What is the first thing that, let's say I've got a brand new business, I'm just starting up, I got a great idea. What's the first thing I should do before I call your law firm, Dorff and Nelson? What's the first thing I need to do before I even reach out to you?
Figure out who else is doing it or doing something similar, and how are you going to differentiate. It's rare you're going to be the fastest or the cheapest. So you really want to figure out what's your leverage. Why would a customer or consumer come to you as opposed to someone else? What are you offering them? And it may be that it's your reputation and your strongest rights are your trademark rights. It may be you've got a confidential business plan and you should focus on trade secrets. Maybe you have a solid invention and you want to work on your patent rights, or it may be that you have some type of code, or it's a work of art or a literature or a book or technology that involves more of an author's creation, and copyright is really your leverage. But often you have to do more than one of these rights at the same time. But how you can do that, you need to find someone to counsel you who appreciates that your early dollars are your most important ones.
How can our listeners get in contact with you, Scott, if they want to reach out?
My firm's website, it's dorfandnelson.com. There's a profile of what I do, and my email and contact information is all there.
Great. Well, Scott Locke, he's the chair of Dorf and Nelson's Intellectual Property Department. Scott, thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
We'll have to get some more information on the website about how to hold on to your intellectual property or hold on to your, quote, IP. In the meantime, check out the other things at hombabiz.com. That's hombabiz.com, and click on tools, HOMBABIZ.com, and click tools.
Homba Biz Radio.
Here's the deal. Let's drop a couple of ideas that people can take right away.
The best broadcast for the home-based business owner.
Some think that just having a website on the internet is enough to bring attention to your business.
Homba Biz is short for home-based business.
Women not leaning in or sitting at the table, they're not even walking in the room.
Like us on Facebook.
The number of people who can help you have a really significant impact in terms of your business, your wealth creation, is a lot smaller than we think it is.
Visit hombabiz.com and click the like button at the bottom right.
And then once I realized how much time I was actually investing in other people, I said, okay, something has got to give.
Homba Biz Radio.
Absolutely, and then you guys all look good.
The best broadcast for the home-based business owner.
Back to the show, Homba Biz Radio. Eugene Rowe about to wrap up. Make sure you join next week where we talk to a CEO whose business literally melts away every year. Lindsay Wheeler of the College Creamery joins us, plus Yolanda Gale tells us how she, quote, makes up all the rules with her beauty business. Next Monday, 9 p.m., Homba Biz Radio Show, hombabiz.com. I'm your host, Eugene Rowe. We'll talk to you next week.